it turned to the use of greenies, and one guy says, "Man, I've gotten so I can't. I mean, I can't even think about putting my uniform on without, before a game without taking 5 milligrams." And this guy said, 5 milligrams. I take 5 milligrams to watch Monday Night Football. I mean, that's how prevalent it was. I mean, it was, and it's terrible. I feel bad that I'm ratting out, baseball about this, but it was so. I mean, guys had stuff on the shelf in their, in their lockers, and it was, and this, Jim. I mean,
Yep.
it was just barely under the surface. Guys laughing about it all the time.
Yeah, I have a story to tell about that. I'm loving this topic. Let's stay on. I have a couple tangents I want to hit on this grand topic of cheating, or what is perceived to be cheating in baseball. Do want to thank Tony Hoaglund, Hoaglund, your State Farm agent, works out of Champlin, but you can work with him wherever you are because he's so nimble, so easy to communicate with him by email, text, his app, however you like. Tony Hoaglund, your State Farm agent, Hoaglund.
Hi, TALKNORTH listeners. I wanted to let you all know about State Farm's new Quotes for Good program. We partner with local nonprofits to raise money for great causes. For the Roy Smalley Show, I will be donating $10 to pitch in for baseball and softball. This provides baseball and softball equipment for kids in need. Be sure to mention the show when you reach out to us so that we can track the donations. You can reach us at 763-421-4900 or check out our website at champlininsurance.com.
Yeah, well, I remember clearly, like when I first started covering baseball, there were like the 2 pots of coffee thing. There was regular coffee, and then there was coffee that might have like green tape around the handle or something like that. And the green that meant there was a little extra juice in that one.
One time we were playing in Comiskey Park, and it was in the late 70s, I think, and the White Sox weren't very good. And I think we were playing a doubleheader, and so the first game was going to start at 4 or 5 o'clock. So we're out there taking infield. If the game was started at 5, the first game started at 5, I guess. We took infield. The White Sox took infield. It would have been around 4:30. The gates were open, but there were very few people in the stands. So in this cavernous Comiskey, you could hear just about anything. And the great third baseman Doug Rader was the coach for the White Sox, and he was a guy in Houston. If people remember, Doug Rader was called the Rooster, and Jimmy Wynn was called the Cannon, and those were the two. The toy cannon, yeah. And so, and Rader was a terrific player, but he was just a character and loud and boise. And Rooster's a great nickname. I don't know if this is where how he got it, but for me, he reminded me of Foghorn Leghorn, same guy. And so, yeah, Rooster was the right name as far as I was concerned. But anyway, he's hitting infield and outfield practice. And there was a guy in right field named Ivan Calderon for the White Sox. And so when you in a big league infield, the coach will hit, a couple of ground balls to the outfielders. They'll make a throw or two to second if you're left field, throw or two to third base if you're center and right. Then they'll make 2 throws home, and they'll go in and change their shirt and get ready to play the game. Raider he's gotten around to Calderon, who's in right field, and everybody's dragging. We had a night game the night before. We hadn't had a day game or an off day in a while, and we're out there early, and it's hot, and he hits a ground ball out to Calderon for his first throw, and the ball, and it goes under his glove and goes all the way to the fence, and he hits him another one, and it bounces up and hits him in the arm, and he hits him another one, and he missed that one too. And Rader he instead of continuing to hit the balls, he started to walk away, and he said, "Holy cow, Ivan, go get some medication." And then he came in and hit infield practice. He had enough of watching Calderon. So we could all hear it. You could hear it all over the ballpark, and so it wasn't exactly like the greatest kept secret in the world. And as sad as that is, I don't know, because of personal experience. I really don't know. I know it's a grind, and if there was some way to make you feel really energetic and great when you were dragging in July or August, I think that probably would have been pretty good. But it got so guys, and lots and lots of players greening up before every game. I'm sure of that, and it's too bad.
The phrase I always heard secondhand was that day's starting pitcher, especially if the team was tired or coming off a night game or something like that, to say, "Hey, don't go out there naked." In other words, make sure you're juiced right. For me just as much as juiced for yesterday's starting pitcher.
Yeah, that's right. It's everybody knew it was going on, and there were some teams that were legendary about it. That starting in my whole career, starting early in my career in the 70s and going through 87. And I will tell you that I didn't see it on our Twins clubs, and I'm sure it must have happened. But I was probably a little head in the sand about that. I didn't pay much attention, but it wasn't talked openly about in our clubhouse, and I don't, I can suspect a couple of guys that might have, but I really didn't see it.
There was one player who played on the 91 Twins who I am pretty certain did it, but I don't have any proof, so I'm not going to put out his name, but I would just say there occasionally you would be around the clubhouse and you would just say, that guy's got to be doing it, just the way they acted, the way they behaved, code words, things like that. But of course, the reason I didn't write about it back then, the same reason I'm not going to call anybody out now, because you have to be 100% sure before you accuse somebody of something like that.
Where does it stop? I'll just make the point one more time. It was so prevalent, unfortunately, that it wasn't. It's not like steroids. It wasn't like that. It was like it was as common as a cup of coffee to a lot of guys in that era. And sad to say, but I don't know what you do about it.
Did you? One question I've always been asked, and I been willing to guess, but I also have to admit I really don't know. It is just a guess. Do you have a feel for what percentage of Major League Baseball players were doing steroids?
No, I have no feel for it at all. And there were guys that for me, it was just coming into vogue toward the end of my career. Right? So my last year was 87, and so it was really mid 80s when it started. You started looking around, looking at guys. I've been a very diligent weightlifter. Since college, I started. I was looking around. Man, if I were stronger, I'd probably be better. And as I got through minor leagues and the major leagues, I looked around and said, what, besides just better talent, what do some of these great players have that I don't have? I looked around and said, they're all bigger and stronger than I am. I was thinking from a hitting standpoint. And so, I would spend my off season with, lifting weights pretty heavily. I got after it for 4 months, and then I'd try to maintain as best I could. Playing shortstop every day was hard, but I'd try to get a lift in every week or 10 days just to try to, maintain. So I have some experience with what you can do to your body with weightlifting and protein supplements in a 4-month off-season period of time. And I would look at some guys that came back 1 year or maybe after the second year, and they were so much bigger than they had been. I looked at, okay, well, I don't have any proof, but holy crap. I don't think anybody outworked me in the gym, but I couldn't, I didn't get there. And so it was an eye opener for me. That's when I started noticing there were certain guys, and I won't name the names because I can't say that they weren't. Maybe they just lifted all the time for 2 years, even during the season, and they got big over time. But there were guys that I played against in the minor leagues and were big, raw-boned kinds of guys, but not built like advanced bodybuilders, and then all of a sudden that's the way they showed up. And I thought, well, I've been trying to do that too, but I haven't been able to accomplish that. So it was pretty interesting.
I once had a twins trainer, somebody on a twins training staff, tell me, he said, I got the perfect steroid test. I said, what's that? He said, if it looks like they're taking steroids, they're taking steroids.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, and you can look at guys now, and and look at what they. I mean, body types are body types, and you can look at them when they were, they were younger and thinner, and then you can look at them when it seemed like their head's bigger and they, everything. I mean, like their bone structure changed, and you say, well, I mean, if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, but one of the big keys for me was looking at a guy's trapezius muscles, the muscles in the back that come up and attach, kind of up at the bottom of your neck and run down the the upper center of your back behind your shoulders, and those things are hard to build if you aren't just naturally like that, and you can't come back looking like an oxen with a yoke on your neck in 4 months. I mean, you can't. I mean, I've tried. You can't do that, and that was always the tip off for me. I would look at guys who all of a sudden it looked like their shoulders had dropped 5 inches because they look like football players, with the big gigantic trapezius muscles coming down from their neck, and I go, yeah, well, I more power to them. I couldn't get that done.
I love this topic. I have a couple more tangents I want to get to. Do want to thank Bitesquad. The promo code's TALKNORTH. But Bitesquad always has deals on their website. So after you use that one, just go to the website, bitesquad.com, find out the best deal and the best restaurants in your area, and then upload your information to the app. Use the app. Just makes life very easy. Morning, noon, night, home office, wherever you happen to be. Bitesquad, bitesquad.com, promo code TALKNORTH. And the thing about steroids is, and I think a lot of people who never really looked much into it didn't really get it. What steroids allow you to do is recover more quickly. So the typical weightlifting cycle is use a muscle group one day, rest for a day or two, come back, use that muscle group again, and by breaking down that muscle group and allowing it to rest and recover, that's where the mass and the strength comes in. If you take steroids, you can work out every day. You can double or triple the effective, the number of workouts you can do over a normal human being. It's a multiplier.
And it's the other reason why all true, and another reason why pitchers take it. And you go, why would pitchers take it? They're not trying to get big muscled, but evidently there are the kinds of steroids, especially if they're not going to lift weights, they're just going to run and stretch and stuff, that they take primarily, I mean, for the simple reason that they recover faster, to your point. And so you think about, starting pitcher is going to pitch 200 innings. You think about a relief pitcher is going out there a lot, and the allure of just the feeling of I can't let anybody else get ahead of me type of thing of big time athletics is just very difficult for guys not to take a look at the benefits of that and say I got to try to get away with that, and so yeah, I mean that's what steroids are about.
And I'm a skinny human being. I was born skinny. I grew up skinny. I was a runner. I gravitated to sports that were endurance sports mostly. Then I started playing lacrosse, where I tried to be more of a sprinter, but I was still skinny. And I was somebody, if I had any advantage of the sports world, is I could run a long time. And earlier this decade, I went through a period where I wanted to get stronger. It was almost like a hobby. It was, why don't I try to be a stronger human being? Why don't I try to hit the gym really hard? And I would work out, and I could see a huge difference in my energy, my recovery, and my strength if I drank a protein shake that had creatine in it. It made a huge difference. I could feel it. And creatine is like a poor man's steroid. It's like a tiny fraction of what a steroid does for you. And I saw myself get bigger, stronger, recover faster, lift more weights. Now, I stopped doing it because I also end up, to get stronger with my body type, I had to eat a lot and drink a lot of protein shakes and all this stuff. And I ended up with a gut, and I didn't think that was the way I wanted to go either. But I mean,